I know George Groves. I know who he is. I know what he is. I know what he's capable of. I've sparred countless rounds with this man over the years. I have the measure of him. I know how those sparring sessions went. I know the levels that I was at those times, which was far beneath what I am now. I'm very confident going into a fight with him of what I'll be able to do in the ring. He's a solid world champion, there's no doubt about it. But I believe I'm a superior fighter in every single way, and I cannot wait to prove it. I believe I dominated 90% of the rounds that we boxed. I have footage of quite a lot of the spars, but that doesn't need to be made public. That was for me and my eyes only, and just to learn, because when these sparring sessions were happening, it was still early on in my career. I've always watched George fight on TV, doing big things and fighting in front of 80,000 people, and I'm thinking, I can beat this guy. It should be me up there, and now it will be. Those are the words of Chris Eubank Jr., giving us some insight into the history between him and George Groves. Now, I'm well aware that Eubank has sparred a lot with Groves in the past. I believe he sparred with Groves in the lead up to Groves' fight with Carl Froch. I think it was in the lead up to the first fight. I'm not sure about the second fight. And there were rumors circulating at the time. I think they even touched on it a little bit on Sky Sports. There were rumors at the time that Eubank Jr. was actually giving George Groves the business in sparring. And this really was early on in Eubank Jr.'s career. He certainly wasn't the fighter back then that he is now. And it's my contention, as most of you know, that George Groves has deteriorated since then and Eubank Jr. has improved. And another person who believes that George Groves has deteriorated, although some of you are going to take this with a pinch of salt, and that's fair enough, but another person who believes Groves has seen better days is Eddie Hearn. And he was saying this in an IFL interview, I think yesterday or the day before, when he was talking about Groves versus Cox. And again, he does have a horse in the race because Jamie Cox is his fighter and he's fighting Groves this weekend. But still, he believes that he's noticed the decline, and I believe it. You know, that's what I see with my eyes, and many other people see the same thing. So people also say that sparring means nothing. I totally disagree with that. Sparring doesn't mean everything, but to say that it means nothing is ridiculous. Of course sparring means something. If you hurt a guy in sparring, you can hurt him in a real fight. If you outbox a guy in sparring, I mean, it's not quite as clear-cut as you'll be able to hurt him in a real fight as well, but still, it gives you some indication about what you might be able to do, although there are many different factors that you have to take into account when it comes to sparring. The guy that you're sparring might be a week away from a fight, 2 weeks away from a fight, and you might have just started training camp, so you're not even in any kind of shape. The guy that you're sparring might have already done 8 or 9 rounds and you're fresh and you go in and spar him. So all those things have to be taken into account along with other stuff. But still, when you're dealing with a situation here with Groves and Eubank where they've sparred countless rounds, it's not like they sparred 1 or 2 sessions. No, they sparred countless rounds. There's a familiarity there. Neither of them will be surprised by anything the other brings to the table. It's like when Keith Thurman fought Sean Porter. It was war from the opening bell because there was familiarity. They'd sparred each other. They knew each other's moves. And I believe it will be the same if we get a George Groves versus Chris Eubank Jr. fight. There'll be a familiarity there. Neither one of them, or certainly not Eubank anyway, I don't think he'll be intimidated in the slightest. He'll be very confident. So we'll see what happens here. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about Chris Eubank Jr.'s comments. And will George Groves even get past Jamie Cox? I'm going to just do a separate video on that, giving my thoughts on it. So yeah, let me know how you feel, people. It's Hatman, I'm out.